Hey guys, so the other video that I posted about Pete Mondrian and Alexander Calder talked about their work, showed you some examples, and today we're going to explain how we're going to make those pieces in that diptych. So remember, a diptych is two pieces of art side by side, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So Pete Mondrian, remember, is more geometric, that's more math influenced. Alexander Calder's more organic, that's more science influenced, but they both use the same three elements of art to create their abstract work: line, shape, color. So for Pete Mondrian, his lines, if you remember, are straight, so they could be vertical, horizontal, or diagonal. His shapes, his geometric shapes that he uses are triangles, so three sides. There's different ways to make triangles. Rectangles, of course, there's so many ways to make rectangles. And squares. So squares are the same on every side. Rectangles have different lengths. And then your triangles could have a vertical, horizontal, and diagonal, or two diagonals and a horizontal. Whatever works. And then the colors, he has great contrast with his black and white. But those primary colors, the main colors on the color wheel, the main ingredients for all other colors: rojo red, amarillo yellow, azul blue. And if we go down to Alexander Calder, he has the exact same color choices: contrast, opposites, black and white, and then the bold and incredible primary colors: amarillo, rojo, y azul. And then for his organic lines and shapes, wavy, curvy, even some spirals, some squiggles, even some scribbles. Shapes, he still uses some geometric shapes like triangles and circles and squares and rectangles, but his organic shapes could be like what you see under a microscope, or like a paint splat, or who knows what. He can also be a little representational. If you remember some of the works from the video, he got some things that looked almost plant-like, some things that looked almost flower or sun-like. So again, organic like the natural world, geometric like the math world. So to make the diptych, you're going to have two pieces of paper. At the end, I mounted it on a larger black paper to kind of make a border frame, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So for the Pete Mondrian, you're going to want a straight edge of some kind, such as this lovely tool, the ruler. That's a straight edge. Eraser, because we keep it light till we get it right. And then something to create contrast, black and white, and something to use with the primary colors. Then you're going to let your artistic intuition, your uniqueness, your artistic voice to create your lines. So there's no rhyme or reason. If you want to be perfect, you can make tick marks. If I wanted this vertical line to be 3 inches from the left, I can make a tick mark 3 inches from the left on both sides, line those babies up with the straight edge, bada bing bada boom. Perfectly straight line every time with your straight edge or ruler. Then I'm not going to measure every single one with tick marks. Just going to do my best here. I'm going quick. You're going to take your time to be precise. If you want to do triangles, you're just going to find a square or rectangle. You're going to line up the opposite corners like so, and then make your line. So you could do a triangle that way. You could do triangles this way. You could even crisscross, make an X to make 4 triangles in your rectangle or square. So really, you're the artist, you're the expert here. You make lines that are vertical, horizontal, and diagonal any way that your heart desires. Then, what I am going to do is trace those lines very carefully with a black Sharpie. If you want to paint your Mondrian lines, if you want to use crayon, colored pencil, regular markers instead of a Sharpie, you can do whatever you need to do and use whatever materials you have on hand to make your geometric shapes and straight, vertical, horizontal, and diagonal lines. So once you have covered all those lines and make as many or few as you want, I guess I didn't finish, did I? You are going to then pick which shapes are going to be colored red, yellow, blue, and you can also color some in black and some white. So again, you can have contrast, you can get some yellow, some red, some blue. So maybe I want this guy to be yellow. And maybe first, before I color them all in, I'm just gonna say, all right, this one's gonna be yellow, this one's gonna be yellow, because we also want balance, all right? Balance is not putting all your yellow ones in one corner, all your reds in a corner, all your blues in a corner, but spreading them out evenly so that you can move with your eyes. So not only balance, but also movement. So we're using some principles of design as well as those three main elements: line, shape, color. So let's say I want this one up here to be red. So before I fill it all in, I'm just planning and putting things where I think they should go. This one could be red, this guy could be red, and I'm feeling this guy red. So before I fill them all the way in, I'm gonna just mark to kind of make a plan and an outline. I want this one blue, so I don't want blues touching each other, or reds touching each other, or yellows. And let's get some balance here, and then get some black too. So this one would be black, this I'd leave white, so of course I'm not gonna make a mark in there. I'll go black here, black here, black here, and maybe also a blue. So yeah, you fill those in, bada bing, bada boom. Then Calder. For Calders, it's more organic. So again, I'm going to start with pencil, keep it light till I get it right. Maybe I want to have kind of a round flower slash sun, because I can be a little representational with Calder. Not purely abstract with just shapes and colors and lines, but abstract and representational all at once. And maybe I want the spiral in there. I'm going to use the black crayon so it shows up a little bit better, because we're going to outline this with Sharpie or whatever material you're going to use. So maybe I have this organic natural shape. Maybe I want some plant life. So more organic shapes and lines. But either way, you're filling your composition, filling your page. You use a straight edge for Mondrian. You just kind of let your artistic intuition flow as to where the lines and where the shapes and where the colors will go. Maybe this is a little representational of mountains and some funky Calder trees. And a reminder too that I put some extension videos on Google Classroom as well. So if you want to watch a video about Calder's sculpture and shapes, those mobiles, those hanging moving sculptures, and how he changed the game there, you could do that. You could also watch a fun animation about Mondrian and his work and the progress of his work over his lifetime. And they both loved movement and music and art. So really, these two guys would really get along with myself, Mrs. Reese, and Mrs. Simon, don't you think? So you can explore, you can experiment with materials, with line, shape, and color, and also think about balance and movement too, so that your eyes are moving all throughout the pages, and you've balanced your colors and balanced your shapes. So my finished example, like I showed you on the other video, of my diptych two artwork side by side. So my example today, I started with crayon. This finished one, I used Sharpie marker, but again, I put Mondrian at the top, unique to me and my artistic voice, and then Calder I put on the bottom. I even framed it on a black piece of paper, but again, you don't have to. As long as they're hung side by side, you have done a diptych. You could have also put them next to each other horizontally instead of vertically, or maybe you go at a little diagonal to be creative too. So You can watch these videos, you can pause, rewind, do whatever you need to do to allow success and to see exactly what you want to do to be your own unique artist. Have fun!